Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board and welcome to the last episode of Galley FM. This moment feels unbelievable. What started as a simple idea grew into something so much bigger, a space for connection, share stories, and inspiration. Today, we are not just saying goodbye to a series, we are honoring a journey that has meant the world to me. Let's take off together one last time with my special guest Mirko, Wizz Air cabin crew airline. How are you, Mirko?
Hello, first of all, I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm so glad and so excited in the same time to be here with you. And I'm still shaking, guys. So please, Alexa, take everything easy from the beginning.
We're gonna take it easy. We're gonna take it from the beginning. We're gonna find out what was behind the scenes of the Wizz Air airline. Thank you for thank you for being here, first of all. And let's start, shall we? Let's take off. So I would like to ask you, what was your inspiration for applying for the Wizz Air airline?
To be honest, this whole story with Wizz Air started, I think, in 2022. When I was at home, I just finished my work and I was scrolling on Facebook. And I saw a pop-up and the title was something like Wizz Air is hiring. And I didn't pay attention and I just kept scrolling. And at some point I was like, Wizz Air is hiring. No, let's go back and see again. And I saw that they were hiring in that moment and I had to apply online in order to receive an invitation to go for an interview, for an assessment day, because as you know, in aviation we have assessment days and open days. And I was lucky, and after a couple of days I received the invitation for that interview. I went in another city. I was so nervous and so stressed and I wanted so bad to become a flight attendant, and God helped me. So 2 hours after my final interview, I received the golden call and they congratulate me. Yeah, everything was super, super fast.
Oh my God.
We were like 38 people in that day. And the interview was like for 6 hours or maybe 7 hours, something like that. And 2 hours after the interview, I received the golden call. And I think 2 weeks after that, I was already in training.
Wow, that was such a fast process.
Yeah, I
Only
didn't
2 hours. Wow, that was such a fast process, like 2 hours. You are so lucky because some people are waiting for months or maybe couple of months sometimes. But as you mentioned, like airlines, they have open days and assessment days. Can you tell the difference between two of them?
So basically, the difference between an open day and an assessment day, is that for the open day you don't need an invitation, you can go directly. But for an assessment day, you need to be invited by the airline in order to be able to attend.
Okay, so you need to meet some criteria before, and can you explain briefly what's the criteria for becoming a cabin crew, especially for European-based airlines?
For the European-based airlines, the criteria are basically you're not allowed to have tattoos in the visible areas.
Okay.
You need to be at least 1.60 centimeters.
Okay.
And it's a must. You have to reach on your tiptoes 2 meters and 12 centimeters.
That's for you in order to reach the head tracks.
Exactly, to reach the head tracks, because in some head tracks, as you may know, we have emergency equipment.
Okay, good to know. But for sure, people are interested in this information. When it comes to the training, how long was the training for you?
The training was for 1.5 months.
Okay.
And because it was my first time, I didn't have a license in aviation. So I had to do the basic training to learn basic stuff about aviation in order to be able to obtain my license. That training was for maybe 3 weeks. And after that, from Bucharest, we had to go to Budapest, to the headquarters. And there we had an assessment. And after that, we came back and we started to learn more things about the aircrafts, the operational stuff, and how to handle each and every situation on board. And also we learned stuff about the customer service. And after this part, we went back to Budapest for the second exam.
Oh, okay. I see. It was like the whole moving thing from Bucharest to Budapest. It was like a bit challenging, like you have to deal with everything, like formalities, or the company will do it for you.
I was lucky, and I still am lucky because the company did everything for us. The company bought us tickets, they provided accommodation in nice hotels, and we had a great time in Budapest. Even though we were there for like 3 or maybe 4 days, it was a really good time, and I remember very clearly each and every moment with my badge from Wizz Air.
Okay, very, very good to hear that because it makes it a very easy step for you. And imagine you're starting a new career, which is so different than other careers. It's not an easy job, which people think it's an easy job, but it's not. What's the most challenging moment from training college?
The most challenging moment for training college, at least for me, because I'm speaking from my experience, it was to learn stuff because everything was so new for me, and I was trying every single day to memorize those things and to understand them, because as a flight attendant, you have to learn some stuff before you're gonna start to fly. But if you're gonna memorize it and you're not gonna be able to understand those things, you're gonna end up on board as a headless chicken, and we don't want that. So my big struggle was to learn and understand everything because the training in Wizz Air, at least for me, was overwhelming but super nice in the same time. And I learned a lot of stuff. Not even as a flight attendant, I learned stuff about life, and I learned stuff about myself, and I learned how to keep my horses somehow.
It's a very place, it's a very good place for you where you learn how to have patience and how to deal with people, because the most challenging thing in the world is dealing with people, with customer service. And that's why we need to show to the world that being a flight attendant is not that easy, and we need to have more credit for that. What was the most challenging, like, for your example, do you have the terms like to know how to swim? You have like some swimming classes, or in case of evacuation in water, are you doing some drills when it comes to that, or is not necessary for Wizz Air?
You need to know how to swim, of course, and we did some ditching exercise because this is how we call in aviation the emergency landing on water, ditching basically, and we had some ditching exercises, of course, in Budapest.
So after 1 month of training and intense training and so many challenges and also memorable experiences with your colleagues and trainers, how was your first flight for you? Like how it goes? It's like a practical flight. You just stay there and observe the flight, or you are operating from the first time?
Basically, my first flight, it was an augmented crew because we had 5 cabin crew and me. I was there in order to observe what's going on in the aircraft. And I remember very clearly it was a morning flight, it was a London Luton flight. And basically, that flight was nice, was stressful in the same time, but not stressful because someone was putting pressure on me in that moment. Stressful because I wanted to understand each and everything in order to be able to perform another flight. Because in Wizz Air you have like 2 flights in order to see what's going on in the aircraft, or maybe 3, I don't remember very clearly, I'm sorry. And after that you have an exam, a practical exam on board. And the trainer will ask you questions regarding the procedure, what's this, what's that, how you're gonna do this, how you're gonna deal with that, what are the commands in case of, I don't know, maybe an emergency landing on water, because we just talk about ditching. And everything was really nice. And my second flight was somewhere in France, I guess, Beauvais or something like that, near to Paris. And it was really nice. And after that, I had my exam, again on a London Luton flight. So if you know, you know what I mean. And it was a little bit challenging because my first flights, like accommodations flights, were in the morning. And that flight was somehow in the afternoon. But the flight was delayed with 2 hours. And I remember very clearly that I had to stay in the office for 2 hours in order to wait for my other crew to come to the office and to start the formalities before the flight.
That's such a long way. When it comes to the layovers, Wizz Air have layovers because I know you fly to different cities in Europe, and even to some big like capitals or small cities, are you guys having like layovers, or you can spend at least half of a day on the country, or how is it going?
Unfortunately, no. In Wizz Air, we don't have layover, guys. And you know, when I found out that during the presentation of the company at the interview, because I thought that each and every airline has like layovers. No, in Europe, sometimes you won't have layovers. You have basically a flight from your home base
Okay.
to another European city, and after that you have to come back. You can have 2 flights per day or 4 flights per day. And when you have 4 flights per day, it's a little bit challenging because you need to spend at least 15 hours in the aircraft, and you have to deal with each and every situation. And it was stressful. It was tiring sometimes. But I learned a lot, and I learned how to handle the passengers. I learned how to handle the stressful situations because I had good trainers and good colleagues, and they were super patient with me in the very beginning, and I learned how to deal with these scenarios on board.
When it comes to delays, we know that sometimes it happens to be delayed for quite some hours. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with people on board? Like, what would you like to send a message to the people who are watching us when these moments appears on board? How can you handle it? How would you like them to understand the situation?
Unfortunately, this is not our fault, guys. We are there in the same boat with you, waiting to be able to take off. But unfortunately, it happens in Europe, especially. It's something common, especially during the summer season when everyone wants to go somewhere.
Oh, okay.
It's super hard. It's super hard. Like one time I had like maybe 6 hours, a slot for
Delaying.
6 hours. Like we had to stay on ground with the passengers with the door closed, and we had to deal with that situation.
But why these delays are happening is because of the European weather. It's because of airport security. It's aircraft problems. Like, what's the reason behind it? Usually, most of the time.
Most of the time is because of the air traffic controller told us that we're not allowed to take off because the airspace traffic is too crowded, and we don't have basically
Like a runway, like a
like
free
a
runway spot
like a free
to,
runway spots. Yes.
okay, to take off.
Yeah, and also for the security, it's quite challenging during the summer because the airport is super crowded and we have to wait for the passengers, and also the technical inspection of the aircraft. Like we won't take off if that aircraft it's not 100% safe.
It's the security of the aircraft is so our first priority because first of all it's the crew that are there as well, and also the passengers, so you have to be on point with these things, and it's not a joke. We are not taking for granted, and people need to understand this because everything that happens it's for a reason. As you said, we are on the same boat and we all want to take off and finish the flight and take you to your destination. When it comes to customer service, we know it's a very bit challenging part. What was the most shocking thing that customer asked you or said something to you that was so shocking for you, like you didn't know how to deal on the spot?
Uh, Actually, it didn't shock me, but it was so funny in the same time because I had a flight to, I think, Lisbon, and we just started the service. I was double ending the card with the senior cabin attendant at the time, and it was so funny. Um, I was asking the passenger, would you like to have something? Would you like to eat? Would you like to drink? What can I offer you today? And the passenger asked me if I can warm up her cheese, her Romanian traditional cheese in the oven. And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but unfortunately, we don't have ovens in the aircraft. And I don't think if it's safe to heat the cheese
Okay.
in the microwave. So you can eat it like this, but please don't heat it up ever. It's
Ever.
not gonna be because we're talking about Romanian traditional cheese.
So it happens to you, like passenger, like Romanians. You were based in Bucharest,
Yes,
right?
I'm based in Bucharest.
Okay, so lots of Romanians all
Lots
the
of
way.
Romanians.
It happens to you, like people to bring on board, like the traditional sausage Romanian that smells so
Yeah.
strong, and some cheese or bread or something. It happens. It's usual.
It happened to me. It happened to me with sausages, with cheese, with bread in the same time. And it was amazing. And I wanted to ask that passenger, can I have some, please?
But you couldn't.
I couldn't in that moment because I was doing the service, but I wanted so bad to taste that cheese because the smell was incredible, was delicious.
Only from the smell you can tell.
Only from the smell I can tell that.
Oh my God. But what happens with the passenger around that passenger specific? Are they complaining about of the smell, or they want, or how it goes?
The passengers were really nice in that moment. No one said anything because it was a morning flight and everyone was sleeping on board. But the smell was everywhere. The smell was everywhere in the whole cabin. At some point, the captain went to the toilet and he was like, what's the smell? And the captain wasn't from Romania. And I told him, no, this is the smell of the traditional cheese in Romania. Like, the passengers are having a breakfast in this morning. Would you like to join them?
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny when you see people in a way it's good that you can be able to bring your own food, because when it comes to customer service and the service itself on board, if you are flying with a low-cost airline, you have to pay additional, right, for the food. What type of food do you serve on board?
So basically on board we have sandwiches only with cheese or only with meat or both. We have sandwiches with beef. They put something Italian, like a new sandwich. We have also noodle soups, Snickers, Kit Kats, M&Ms. Am I allowed to say that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it for the food and everything? I said you have sandwiches and you mentioned that you don't have oven, so all the food is like cold food, cold snacks, right? But you said you have a microwave, but we want to make sure and make people aware that the microwave is still part of aircraft equipment and is not safe to place like everything inside, because then it can go to an explosion or fire on board or even smoke. So people should understand this. It's not like we are not willing to do it for you, but it comes to safety first.
Yeah, it's always safety first, and unfortunately, no, we don't have microwaves in the aircraft, and our food was cold. But we have a water heater, and we can warm up somehow the sandwiches, because when you have a morning flight, everything, especially during the winter, everything is almost frozen and it's super cold in the aircraft, and we have to do something to warm up those sandwiches. That was somehow the most challenging part, because when I was in the back part of the cabin with my colleagues, and when we had to deal with this situation, all the time I was opening a fixed compartment from the galley, and I was putting hot cups with water in the compartment, and I was putting a lot of sandwiches. So basically, you can say that was a microwave for Wizz Air.
It ever happened to you to have an emergency on board or something unusual when it comes to safety? Like something happened on board, like during takeoff, landing, or taxiing, cruising? It happens to you?
It happened to me one time. I was alone in the back part of the cabin last summer. We were doing like 4 sectors, from Bucharest, summer in Italy, and from Italy, summer in Greece. And when we landed in Greece, we didn't reach our final parking position. As I told you, I was alone in the back part of the cabin, strapped into my seat, and a passenger came to me, and she was screaming like, "Oh my God, I need to use the toilet now. Like, please let me use the toilet." And I said, "I'm not allowed to open the toilet for you now, the lavatory, but let me ask the senior cabin attendant." I called in the forward part of the cabin because I needed in that moment her permission. And she told me, "No, Mirko, you know the rules. We are not allowed to let the passengers during these critical moments using the toilet." And I told her, "I'm sorry, but I didn't get the permission from the senior cabin attendant. You have to wait a few more minutes, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, until the seatbelt sign will goes off. And after that, I will be more than glad to open the toilet door for you." She was so angry, because she had an operation. She had a surgery a few days ago.
And you were not aware of that?
I wasn't aware of that, because she didn't say anything during boarding.
Okay.
And she started to scream again and to shout. And I was there alone, I was like, okay, what I can do? I understand you, ma'am, but we have some rules and procedures to follow, because if you're gonna have if you're gonna hurt your head in that lavatory, it's gonna be my fault, not yours. And after 3 minutes of screaming and shouting, the seatbelt sign went off, and I opened the toilet door for her. And she told me during the disembarkation that, like, you're so mean, you're so rude, you should change your attitude. And I was like, no, I was just doing my job. I was protecting you. Imagine you had a surgery a few days ago, and maybe the captain has to apply the brakes for a different reason. We don't know what's going on in that moment in flight deck. And you're gonna hurt your head. The company won't blame you. The company blamed me. So I have to take care of this situation somehow.
You see, this is one of the hardest part of this job. But after this whole situation, what was the message? What was the outcome after? Like, what would you like people to understand and do it better when they come on board?
I would like for each and every people who use the aircraft in order to fly from point A to point B, that we are not allowed there to just serve food or cold or hot drinks. We are there, first of all, for their safety. We are there to make sure that you're gonna go from point A to point B safe.
That's our own responsibility.
Because all the time, like when I have to secure the cabin, I have some passengers who are asking me, like, why do I have to open the window blinds? Why do I have to fasten my seatbelt? Why do I have to let the armrest down for takeoff and landing? And in that moment, you don't have enough time to, explain everything. And you're gonna say, just because it's for your own safety. And maybe they don't understand. It's for my own safety, but in the same time, the aircraft is the most safest
place you can be.
Exactly.
Yes. Let's try to create awareness when it comes to safety on board, and we'll try to explain to you the reason behind each procedure we have. Let's start with the seatbelt first.
With the seatbelt, yeah, we can start with the seatbelt.
The most important one.
You have to fasten your seatbelt, for example, for takeoff and landing, and when the seatbelt sign goes off, because maybe we will pass an area with turbulence, and you have to be strapped into your seat. As we are sometimes, guys. If you see me that I'm strapped into my seat, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're allowed to stand up. No, you're not. You have to fasten your seatbelt for takeoff and landing, because you don't know what's going on, because those are the critical phases of the flight. And maybe the captain, as I told you, will apply the brakes. And you don't want to end up with a head injury, with a face injury, with a chest injury. Because when the captain has to put the brakes, it's not like you're going to put the brakes on a car. No, it's stronger, it's harder, it's on another different level. And if you're not strapped into your seat, you can actually end up in the hospital, and we don't want that.
We don't want. We try to avoid and have a smooth flight. When it comes to the window blinds, people are sitting on their seat and they just want to relax or have a nap, and then we say, like, can you please open the window blind? It's like, no, it's too bright and everything. Why cabin crew does that?
You have to open the window blinds for takeoff and landing, because we are seated in the forward part of the cabin and in the aft part of the cabin. On some aircrafts, no one is in the cabin to monitor the engines, because this is our priority during takeoff and landing. Basically, the passengers are our eyes during takeoff and landing, because we're in the back, we're in the front, and they have to open the window blinds, because if something goes wrong during takeoff and landing, they will be the first ones who can say something, and after that we can inform the pilots that it's something wrong with an engine. Please shut it down.
Yes, it's to check outside condition as well, in case it's on ground the aircraft, and maybe there is a smoke or fire. You cannot open that door specifically that's next to the engine, because it can explode in your face. When it comes to the armrest or tables from the seat, why we have to secure them as well?
So basically, you have to close the tray table during takeoff and landing, because in case of an emergency, you have to evacuate the aircraft as soon as possible, in 90 seconds or less than 90 seconds, using half of the exits. And if your tray table is open, you cannot evacuate that aircraft in less than 90 seconds. Because when you're evacuating the aircraft, basically, we are speaking about something that is life-threatening. Maybe an engine exploded, maybe it's something wrong with the landing gear, and so on and so forth. And that's why we have to make sure that each and every passenger is secured and all the tray tables are closed. When it comes to the armrest, they have to let the armrest down also for takeoff and landing, because in the emergency situation, you have to use the armrest to push yourself from the seat.
For the brace position, right? Like in case of brace position, you have to hold yourself, and also for the tray table to be closed, in case you brace, you have to lean down and secure yourself. So they need space for that moment.
Exactly, for these two reasons, for brace position and to push yourself in case of an emergency evacuation.
In case of the seat can be reclined, sit upright or reclined. Why we upright it for landing and takeoff?
I guess other airlines has this how do you say it? Procedure to
Safety
put
procedures.
the seat in the upright position, but unfortunately in Wizz Air the seat won't go like this.
It's just a still seat. It's not gonna move.
Exactly, we don't have that
that feature of the
exactly
seat.
they don't have that feature on our aircrafts.
When it comes to the bags, I think Wizz Air it's a bit strict with the size of the bag. How it should be stowed? Like it should be on the floor, should be on the aisle, or everything in the overhead stowage?
Basically, we have some rules that we have to follow. It doesn't necessarily mean that these are Wizz Air rules. That are aviation rules in general, are more like common sense if you want. For example, if you have like a big luggage, you have to put it in the overhead compartment for takeoff and landing. If you have a small luggage, like a purse or maybe a bag or a duty-free bag, you can place it under the seat in front of you for takeoff and landing. And when it comes to the emergency exits, everything has to be in the overhead compartment. You're not allowed to have small bags, or you're not allowed to use the headphones during takeoff and landing, because maybe you won't be able to hear our commands and you will not open that emergency exit door.
When it comes to emergency door, do you have like a space, like a, let's say, extra legroom space? Is more space there? And which type of passenger are allowed to sit on these seats? Is everyone, or it's just a certain type of passengers?
It's a certain type of passengers. In Wizz Air, we have this able-bodied type of passengers. So basically, you need to be fit to fly. You need to be somehow tall. We don't accept pregnant ladies in the emergency exit, and you're not allowed to be intoxicated.
Alcohol intoxication.
Exactly. You have to be 100% aware, and you have sometimes to repeat what I said, because I need to make sure that you understood my instructions, and you will be able, in case of an emergency situation, to open that door for me, because I won't be there to guide you or to assist you.
Yes, you will not be there, like for example, you don't have like a jump seat over there in that area, or God forbid something will happen to you and you'll get unconscious, so you cannot open the door, and that's the only exit from the plane. So you have to brief them with easy words, I think short terms, and explain to them exactly how the door is operating for you to open it to get out from the aircraft.
Exactly, because all the time when I was in the cabin for the boarding part, and I was assigned to stay at the emergency exits, I was always asking the passengers, "Hey, good morning, how are you? My name is Mirko, I'm going to be your flight attendant today. I just wanted to ask you if you're able to help me with this door in case of an emergency evacuation." And everyone was like, "But I just wanted to stay here because I have more legs for my feet." I was like, no. I don't say that we're gonna have an emergency landing. This is just a normal protocol that we have to follow during boarding. And they were after that like, okay, I don't have to open any door, so I'm gonna stay here. But in case of an emergency evacuation, guys, you have to be able to open that door for us, because we won't be there for you to help you.
When it comes to the uniform, I checked, it's a very nice color combination, and can you please explain it to me for the girls and boys? How are the pieces? Was the summer uniform? For sure you have a winter one as well, and it's very chic in the same time. I really like it, the way it goes.
It's very nice, it's very chic, it's very colorful. And I observed that, I noticed actually that you have some Wizz Air vibes today, my
Today I'm
dear.
with.
Today you're Wizz Air, yes. Thank you so much for this amazing,
Yeah, it's just to
amazing
support my
suit.
crew from Wizz Air.
Thank you so much for that. So basically, when it comes to the uniforms, we have shirts with long sleeve and short sleeve. You can wear them during the summer, during the winter, it doesn't matter. Also, you have a cardigan, trousers, and the company won't provide you shoes and socks or other stuff like that. Also, the watch, it's not in this category. Like you have to purchase a watch in order to go to fly because it's a mandatory item. And of course, the jacket. The company will provide it for you. And when it comes to the girls' uniform, you have a skirt. You have, again,
The blouse.
yes, it could be with long sleeve and short sleeve. And of course, the jackets. And you have to buy the stockings, I guess,
Okay.
and high heels.
I seen some girls in Wizz Air, they have this long, dark, black dress.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
What is it? It's different position, like the grades the cabin crew have, it like the seniority, or it's just part of the uniform and you can choose?
The long dress is just part of the uniform. You can wear it during the summer or you can wear it during the winter. It doesn't matter. For example, if you're feeling today like, okay, I'm gonna go with this long black dress, I'm gonna go with this black dress. If I'm gonna go with the trouser, I'm gonna go with the trouser. It doesn't matter, as long as you're grooming according to the standard regulation of the Wizz Air.
Is there any rule, like let's say, like for example, how many crew are on the aircraft in a normal flight? Let's say, how many of you are you on the plane?
I was expecting that question, and hopefully I will give you a correct answer. Please, guys, don't judge me. I think around 5 people.
Okay, so 5 people. Let's say there are 4 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah.
The girls, they all of them. So as you said, you can have the skirt and the blouse or the dress. They can be like 2 with the dress and 2 with the skirt, or just like say 3 with the skirt and 1 with the dress. Like it's a bit different, the contrast between them, or it's like a rule they need to have, or they need approval before the flight. Like, okay, today I'm gonna go in a dress, or how is the procedure when it comes to image and uniform?
No, you don't have to like receive a permission. You can wear whatever you want from the uniform. As I told you, if I want to wear the black skirt, I can wear the black skirt. If I want to wear trousers, I'm gonna wear trousers. It doesn't matter. But you have to be grooming according, and you have to respect the image
The image protocol.
of the
When it comes
Wizz
to
Air.
grooming for the girls, how is the hair, like the hairstyle? It has to be a bun, can be a ponytail. How it goes?
When it comes to the hairstyle for the girls, you can go with a ponytail, you can have a bun, but you're not allowed to go with your hair over your shoulder or stuff like that. And if you're gonna choose to have a ponytail or a bun, or no, especially a ponytail, the length of the ponytail has to be the same length as the safety card.
Really?
Yes. If, for example, the safety card is like this,
Okay.
the ponytail has to be like
Okay.
this.
So if the
The
girl
same length.
and okay, and if the girl has like a longer than that, she has to do a bun,
She
or
has to do a bun or to cut her hair. Yeah, you have to make sacrifices for this job, guys. It's not that easy.
it's not that easy. And when it comes with the boys, what's the grooming standard?
You have to be. You can have a beard.
Oh,
Or
that's
you
really
can.
free.
I
That's
love that. I love that. Even though now I'm shaved and I have to shave after this podcast because I forgot to shave this morning. I'm sorry. As I told you, you can have a beard. You can shave. Of course, you have to cut your nails to be presentable in front of the passengers, and not only for the passengers, for yourself first of all. And when it comes to the hair, you have to go with your hair always. Your hair always has to be done. You're not allowed to go with your hair, like if you don't use any product, you're not allowed to go to the flight because you're not grooming according. So you have to use at least, I don't know, maybe powder volume or something like that to go to a flight, because you have to maintain a certain standard.
When people are boarding the plane and they see you so beautiful with your uniform and your grooming, they love to take pictures with you. They ask you to take videos or pictures. How are they? How is their reaction with you?
We're talking about me in particular.
Yes, of course.
So I have some passengers, not all the time, but it happens quite often to have some passengers on board. And they were like, "Oh my God, I know you from TikTok. I know you from TikTok. Can we take a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, of course we can take a picture." For the first time was somehow strange because I didn't know how to react or what to say when they were coming to me, knowing me from social media and everything. But it was nice because, for example, if my emergency exits were empty, I can bring the passengers in my emergency exits.
So you see, guys, it's a very good thing to know Mirko from social media, and when you see him on board, just say hi to him. He can give you some good benefits during the flight and make your whole journey like a smooth experience. When it comes with the customers that they are coming on board and they know you, I have this thing that I usually do when I go on a flight, and even though if I know the stuff or I don't, I always bring chocolates or some sweet candies on board. And I think this is such a great habit to do it. Even though if you are not staff or just a regular passenger, I think it's very nice. What do you think about it?
We had some passengers during especially boarding. They were like, "Oh, this is for you guys. Thank you so much for bringing us home safe. Thank you for your service." And also when we are traveling as passengers, crew, we are always bringing something. We are always bringing something. For example, when we're going, I went last summer in Catania with my best friend. And for the cabin crew on that flight, I bought cannolis. I went to
Nice.
London. I bought Krispy Kreme. I went to Dubai. I brought them Arabian Delights. And so on and so forth. I'm trying all the time to give them something that is specific to that place. Because basically, okay, but for Catania, we have a rules. We have a rule. When you're going to Catania, it is mandatory to bring cannoli on board because the cannoli from Catania are the best. You should try them. Trust me.
I never tried them honestly, and I never been on that part. But it's a very nice gesture from crew and passenger as well. I think it makes you feel like more appreciated. It can create a good connection between and the passengers. When are you traveling as a crew on staff ticket? For example, the plane is full. Are you allowed to stay for the takeoff and landing on the jump seat?
Unfortunately, no, you're not allowed to stay during takeoff and landing on the jump seat. But when you're trying to book a ticket with our employee benefits, the system will tell you before you're gonna make the payment that the flight is full. Are you sure? Do you want to have a seat, a standby ticket? And you can accept or you can decline and check another flight for another destination maybe. But no, you're not allowed to travel on the jump seat.
I see. Uh,
From my knowledge, if I'm wrong, please bear with me.
just please comment down if you know different. About the flying scheduling, it's like monthly, it's weekly, how it goes?
For the schedule, we receive the schedule basically 1 month in advance. For example, let's say right now we are on the 15th of January. We will receive the schedule for the next month. As I told you, everything it's with turnaround in Wizz Air. Unfortunately, we don't have layovers, but we have short flights. And for example, during the winter season, you could have around maybe 12 to 13 flights per month, which is good, which is okay. During the summer season, 2 years ago in summer, in August, I had 18 flights back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and sometimes 4 flights per day and flights with rest day. Basically, it means that from Otopeni, from Bucharest, we're gonna fly from. So basically, it means that we're gonna fly from Bucharest, maybe to Dubai and back. 5 hours on the way there, 5 hours on the way back, 1 hour at least on ground in Dubai. 30 minutes after landing in Otopeni and 1 hour prior the flight. So imagine. And after that, you can have like a flight from Bucharest to Tenerife, which is in Spain. You have 6 hours and a half sometimes on board on the way there, and 6 hours and a half on the way back. And it's super tiring because on the second sector, everyone is sleeping and you cannot sleep because you're on duty and you're not allowed to sleep because God forbid something may happen and you're not alert and aware of the situation. You have to react super quickly. And yeah, the schedule was super tiring, especially in the first months, because I had a combined roster with morning flights and night flights, and I was sleep deprived. I wasn't eating very well, and I gained 14 kilograms in less than 8 months. It was super tiring in the first months because I didn't know how to handle the stress, the fatigue, and so on and so forth. But I managed somehow to prioritize what is important for me. And what you should prioritize if you want to work as a flight attendant, guys, prioritize your sleep, your health, and eat healthy. Trust me.
When it comes to our lifestyle of a cabin crew, it's very hectic, with the jet lag and the busy schedule. How can you create this discipline for you? Like, how can you do like a daily routine or something that will keep you fit and healthy on the long way?
For example, I told you that at some point I gained 14 kilograms.
Yes.
I broke 2 pants of pairs here.
No way, uniform ones?
Yes, during the same service, I would like to say. I was so embarrassed. And the passenger were like, no, it's okay. Don't worry. It may happen. Like, no,
Oh
not
my
to
God.
me.
People were taking pictures or videos
No,
or
everyone
something?
was so nice.
Oh,
And
that's so
they were
sweet.
telling me like, your pants are broken. Go and do something.
Oh my
And I was
God.
lucky because, okay, I broke two pairs of pants. And after that, I went to the senior cabin attendant and I told him like, we have a situation. Like, how can I go home with my pants in this
ripped,
scenario?
yeah.
Like, what can I do? Please help me. And he gave me his spare pair of pants.
Oh, that's so kind of him.
Yeah.
It's so kind, like to have a senior with you on board and support you in these critical moments is such a
it
big
was
deal.
critical. In that moment, it was like a trigger warning for me. I went home and I said, okay, I have to do something because I cannot perform this job if I'm not fit and if I'm not healthy. And I started to go to the gym. And when it comes to the lifestyle of a flight attendant, because you asked me how can you have this healthy lifestyle, you have to push yourself. You have no choice. You have to push yourself. Basically, after the 3 or 4 months, so I chose to have morning flights. And after those morning flights, I always went to the gym. I always go to the gym and trying to have a healthy lifestyle. After the gym, some groceries. After that, let's go back home, do the laundry, do the dishes, cook something, and prepare for the next morning. And I had those flights I had those days when I had like afternoon flights, and in the morning, you cannot do anything. Like you have to wake up, take a shower, drink a coffee, and off you go, because you have a flight.
How do you deal with jet lag?
Honestly, I was so lucky because flying back and forth all the time, I didn't have jet lag, but it was quite tiring because, as I told you, I had like combined schedules, morning flights with night flights, and I was trying to adapt all the time because it was super hard to adapt after a series of night flights to adapt for morning. Like basically, I had to change my sleep pattern. It was quite tiring because you cannot switch your sleep pattern like this in 2 local nights. But you have to get used to it, and at some point you will, I don't know, maybe learn to manage the tiredness.
The cabin crew community, so you said you're based on Bucharest, and how is it growing there? Like, do you know each other? Every flight you meet same people, or you are rotating every time? How is the environment? How is the relationship between you and the other crew?
So basically, Wizz Air, between me and Wizz Air was love at the first sight. I love Wizz Air. Wizz Air, it's here for me. I love you guys. I love you all. And everyone was super nice. I had a really, really, really good time flying for Wizz Air. The base managers were so kind. They were so helpful all the time, and the environment was nice and healthy. We were supporting each other, and we were around 400 people, just the cabin crew. I'm not counting the flight crew now because I don't know the numbers. And somehow you're gonna have like maybe this month you're gonna fly with someone, next month you're gonna fly with the same person, and that was the best part in Wizard because you were making connections with people, and in your off days you have people next to you or maybe in your neighborhood, and you can go out together to drink something, to eat something, maybe to a concert, maybe you can plan something fun like a super random trip. And I did it one time, 24 hours in Rome. I decided that I want to do that on the flight to Rome with one of my friends. She was like, "Oh, I want to go on a vacation, but I don't know where." And I told her, "Okay, we can go maybe in Italy. I know that you've been in Rome many times, but I've never been to Rome. So do you want to go to Rome together tomorrow morning? What do you say?" And we went to Rome. It was crazy, 24 hours with no sleep. We had a great time. The weather was perfect, and we bonded and make a connection in that moment, even though we were friends, but we were not that close. Kiss you, Theodora.
Hi, Theodora. Do you remember your first crew on the flight, on your first flight? Like, can you relate what happened on that specific flight that, you know, it was a start of a new beginning for you?
I remember very clearly the crew, but my focus was on the trainer because when you have like your first flight,
Okay.
the people from the management and so on and so forth, they will assign you a trainer who can keep an eye on you. And I was focusing on the trainer, on his explanation, and it was nice, but she was quite hectic in that moment. She was quite hectic. Like, she was so excited that I was there, and she was like, "Okay, look, you can do this. Look, you can do that. Go in the cabin, do the service, come back, do the clearance, go back, do an announcement, open the door, close the door, arm the door," and so on and so forth. And I ended up that flight like so tired. Like, even though I had 1 month and a half training, and I've learned everything, I need to learn visual. I need in that moment to visualize everything in the aircraft and how to put everything
Piece by piece.
exactly piece by piece. And I slept in uniform. So basically I arrived home at 2 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I was like this on the couch typing. No, the washing machine
Was running.
it was running, and I said it was running in the background, and I said, "No, there's no chance for me. I can sleep. Maybe I'm gonna sleep like for 15 minutes, a power nap or something like that." I woke up at 2 in the morning.
Oh my.
At 3 and 3:15, I had to go to the airport for another flight,
For
and I
another
was like,
flight?
I'm in my uniform. I slept like this, and I opened my eyes, and I was like, "Why is it? It's dark outside. What day is it?
What day is it?
How much did I sleep?
That's such a common question for like, what day is it?
What day is it? No, this is something common. Like, what day is it? It's Tuesday. Okay. Should I care? It's Tuesday. I have a flight. I don't care. I know, like, I don't know when, like, for example, I don't know, like, a normal person. No, today it's Saturday. Today it's Sunday. No, I know, like, I have this flight and another 2 flights, and after that I have 3 days off. Halas, that's it.
That's true. It's only by date. I think the number of like the day, like we are on 10, we are on 11, and that's it. Like the idea of time to know when is Monday, Tuesday, I think it's gone when you start this career. As a cabin crew, how would you like to explain this career to people? Like, because you know this idea that people think we're waitress in the sky, and I think it's such a harsh word for us to describe, and I believe we need more credit for it. So what would you like people to know about it?
That's a tough question, I would say, because even though I work as a flight attendant, I don't know how to describe this job. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's so bad, sometimes it's chaotic, sometimes it's peaceful.
It's a very tough job.
It is a very tough job, but it depends on your vibe. It depends on your feeling. It depends on your mood. It depends how you are as a person. Because if you don't like people in general, you won't be able to perform this job properly, because you need to help them. But I would say that it's very challenging all the time. You're gonna develop during the training a new set of skills, trust me. And you will learn to be patient. And I learned to be patient on board. And it's super important to be patient with the passengers. Because maybe, just maybe, you have an elderly passenger who was traveling for the first time to go in another country to see his maybe daughter, his son. And as I told you, it's his first time. He doesn't know maybe how to open the door of the lavatory. You have to be patient with that passenger, because it is his first flight and he doesn't know. It doesn't necessarily mean that he wants to stress you.
Yes.
He wants you to
give you like a hard time on that moment.
Exactly. He doesn't know. The people in general, they don't know how to do stuff in the aircraft. Like everyone on board, it's like a bus but with wings, guys. It's the same, and everything. It's with numbers.
It's with numbers.
It's not that hard, but still, I'm here
to help
and to support, and I love people.
Yeah, that's why cabin crew are there on the aircraft to help and support people. Let's say for the people who are coming for the first time on aircraft and they've never been, and as you said, they don't know how to use lavatory. Let's say for the cabin bag, they have a very, very big cabin bag, and they tell you like, lift my bag up in the head tracks. Are cabin crew supposed to do this part of the job or no?
Unfortunately, no. We are not allowed to lift your luggages. We are not there to do that.
We are there to assist you, to assist you, but we can assist people like, let's say, elderly people, pregnant women, people who cannot reach the head tracks, because not everyone is tall enough to reach the head tracks, and that's why but we have to do it with you, and we can assist you doing that, because in case something will happen to your back, like injury, medical reason, I think Wizz Air will not cover the insurance and everything that's going to happen to your health.
Unfortunately, no. Of course, we can help you to put your bag in the overhead compartment in the overhead track, but we are not allowed to lift the luggages in the cabin. I can assist you, but I cannot do it for you. It's not because I don't want that. Because it's about my health.
It's about
and I don't want to ruin my back. I'm 25 years old. Come on.
I think it's like 150 passenger on a Wizz Air plane or something like this.
In the biggest plane, you could have 239 passengers.
So imagine lifting up bags for more than 200 people on board. It's impossible for a crew. And as you said, we are there to help you, and we're gonna help you, but don't be rude and just think that this is our job.
Exactly.
We are there to help and support and assist wherever the time comes, but don't give hard time or being rude with your crew for this topic.
It happened to me only one time in 2 years and 7 months. With a passenger. I was in the forward part of the cabin with the senior cabin attendant, and the passenger was in the cabin, and he did the next gesture. I was like, I looked at the senior cabin attendant and I asked her, should I go and lift her luggage? And she said, no, I'm gonna go. You're gonna stay here. I'm gonna take care of this, don't worry. But of course, if I'm gonna see an elderly passenger on board, or a mother with a child, or a mother with an infant, of course I won't stay like this.
Yes.
Like, of course I'm gonna go. Let me help you with your bags.
Yeah.
Let me help you with your bags. You're traveling alone with an infant. Maybe you're stressed. We are here to help you. We are here to support you.
That's why we are there. What's the biggest lesson you learned from this career as a cabin crew?
I learned to be patient. I learned to understand people, and I put myself all the time in their shoes. And it's super important to be able to understand their needs, their mindset, and to be able to provide a good customer service experience for them.
That's so well said.
Thank you.
So I have something prepared for you today. It's a mini game. It's gonna be a very quick one. It's called Rapid Fire Galley Games.
Should I be scared of this game?
We'll see.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Woo!
First question: chicken or beef?
Fish.
Oh my.
Think outside the box. Chicken or beef? Fish, always.
Coffee or tea?
Pineapple juice.
Apple juice or orange juice?
Water.
Oh my goodness, that's the best one. Night flight or early morning flight?
Early morning flight.
Turbulence or screaming babies?
Wow, that's a hard one. Screaming babies. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm scared of turbulence, but I prefer a screaming baby.
Okay.
I prefer
Dealing with drunk passengers or someone trying to change seats mid-flight?
someone who's trying to change seats mid-flight.
Okay.
Definitely.
30 minutes delay or non-functioning coffee machine?
Unfortunately, we don't have coffee machine in Wizz Air, so I would say let's go without a coffee machine. It's okay, Yala.
We can go.
We can go.
First flight of the day or last flight of the night?
First flight of the day, I would say.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm a morning person.
What's the only advice would you give to someone who wants to apply as a cabin crew?
Don't give up. Fight for your dream. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Go on and on and on and on again. Work for your dream, because at some point you will have good results. Trust me, it's a very beautiful job. It's tiring, yes. It is demanding, yes. You're gonna be sleep deprived, yes. But it's worth it. Trust me. It's amazing. It's amazing to know everything about the aircraft, to know how to behave in the aircraft, to go in the back part of the cabin when maybe you're traveling with another airline and just to have a small chit chat with other flight attendants. It's nice. It's nice. You should try it. At least for a couple of years when you're young. You should try this.
So, as we're coming to our end of episode, thank you for having you here. And I would love to say that that's a wrap for Galley FM. As I close this chapter, I want to thank every single one of you for tuning in, for your kind words, and for being part of this journey. This series may be ending, but the stories, the connection, and the memories will live on. Stay tuned for what's to come, because every ending is just the beginning of something new. Thank you for listening, for supporting, and for growing with me. Until next time, this is Alexa signing off from Galley FM. Take care and keep putting your wings on. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and see you on our next episode.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
See you guys.